Okay, guys, the Paired Up team is back, ready to make your life easier on social media by giving you some insight and advice. And we're going to kick it off with founder and CEO Kaylee Pear of Paired Up. And we've got Jenna and Valerie here as well joining us for the conversation. And today we are talking about something that I think can maybe kind of feel daunting if you're not familiar, which is why Kaylee is here to help you when it comes to social media ads. She's the guru of that. But 5 steps to generating leads with social media ads, because if you're spending the money, you want to get something out of it. Am I right?
Yeah. And I mean, there's several steps that go into it. This is why ads are really difficult to run on your own, and also a higher package for if we're doing them through Paired Up, because it's a lot of knowing, having a more of a plan. So you take your content strategy and you take it up a notch by like 5 or 10, and that's the strategy you got to have for these ads. And then you also need to make sure you're constantly looking at how they're performing. Okay, what worked with this? What didn't work? What do your customers like? How do they respond? Because I mean, as I've said before, these platforms want you to succeed. They want you to succeed with these ads. So they're going to help you as much as they can. But in the end, as saturated as this environment gets, as this becomes more popular of an advertising avenue, you're going to have to get smarter and better at getting to your customers. So
And it's what you're doing with those leads too, right?
yes, exactly. So setting, like, here's the 5 altogether. We're going to kind of break them down. You're going to set goals, define your target audience, allocate your budget, get creative, and analyze and report. All of that I just said in a matter of 1 minute and 30 seconds. And it really kind of just, if you don't have all of those set, Kara, it really is just, kind of a mute point. So if you're looking at the goals, okay.
Yeah, give me an example of a goal.
Yeah. So when you go to create an ad, and let's say you're doing it through Facebook, and you go and it says, what's your objective? That's essentially the same thing as a goal. So your objective, and the different objectives that at least Facebook and Instagram allow are awareness. So you're basically giving yourself brand awareness. So you want to get in front of as many people eyeballs as possible. Traffic is going to be getting people to click a link, go to your website, click a link, go here, go to an event, do something like that, and really generate traffic. Then engagement's going to be another objective. Do you want to increase your engagement on your social media platforms to get more people there, to get more people liking you? Maybe you want event responses. That's going to be a big one in there. So let's say you're hosting an event. We have a MedSpot that's hosting an event, and we're running an engagement ad for them that is, to get people to respond to those events and eventually show up to those events. There's also leads, where you are working within the actual social media platform itself and generating leads within the platform, which I'm finding more and more, especially on Facebook and LinkedIn, those two especially, that keeping people on the platform instead of sending them out, you're getting a better cost per click and a better performance because you're keeping them within the platform. So you can create forms where you can get name, email, phone number, any information you may need from them to continue that conversation, but you're at least staying in the platform, which then makes them happy. And then ad promotion and sales. Those are all the different objectives or goals that you want to set when you're putting together an ad. So which one of those do you want out of an ad?
Valerie, I feel like you want to jump in when it comes to defining your target audience. What are you looking at, and what kind of different audiences are you checking out?
I think you kind of just need to look at it as a way of like who your brand is. So if you're a nonprofit organization and you're doing leads, you're going to reach out to other nonprofit organizations, right? That's who your target goal people are. And which also is what we kind of found out with a client that I have recently is testimonials. This is kind of like a free way that's kind of going back, not away from the ads, but testimonials. That's a great way to put your reviews out there, and then other people see that, and that reaches other people because you're tagging the person who actually wrote that review. And if they're following other nonprofit organizations, then they'll see that and then want to use you at the next event.
Okay, the next one we have up here when it comes to social media ads, allocating your budget. I think sometimes ads scare people because you think that you have to spend a lot of money.
Yeah, and you definitely don't. You can spend, but you got to be careful. You can spend, $100 for an ad. You can spend $300. You could spend $1,000. You could spend $5,000. It's really up to what your budget allows, that you can just get the best bang for your buck by making sure you set up your target audiences and your objectives, and make sure you utilize this platform wisely with the creatives that you have. But be careful when you're setting that up. Let's say you think to yourself, oh, $20 is great. Well, a lot of the times when you set up an ad, it says $20 a day. Well, if you run that for 30 days, that's like $600. So, make sure you're really paying attention and know, okay, I have this much money to spend this month. So then, so for some of our clients, they say, okay, I want to spend this much per month. So then we can divvy up different objectives and use all of that money. So maybe we're running a brand awareness along with a purchase. So then we're making people aware of the brand, but then we're also trying to get them to purchase at the same time instead of looking at it as each individual ad.
Okay, good point. And I also, I love this next one. And this is talking about getting creative, because I know I was reading an article recently that talked about there are specific things you can do to get creative. It's not just a video. There's other things you can add to it. And videos are very important when it comes to creating ads though as well.
Ads perform a lot better than, most other creatives, at least that we are finding. But making sure when you get creative and I think both Jenna and Valerie can attest to this, as this is just content in general, but really important for ads, is you want it to not look too salesy. You want it to be showcasing in a way that people are using your product or doing something with everyday life, and that be an ad, yes, okay, essentially it's still an ad, but when somebody logs onto these platforms, they're in discovery mode. They want to buy something. I mean, I do. I'm like, give me something to buy, so show how it's useful in everyday life with influencer marketing, which is a big deal. That's going to be huge now as we move forward when you're getting creative. Don't just say, okay, free shipping for the month of March and put that in there. Tell us why the product is good, showcase that. And maybe utilize your customer base and have them post and use that as an ad.
Yeah. I think also, go ahead, Jenna.
I was just going to say, if you think about when you do get on Instagram, for example, and if I'm scrolling through my page, it'll show, certain posts are promoted and they're ads and they're sponsored. And a lot of times I will quickly scroll past them because they are very much an ad, but for example, with influencers, if I'm scrolling through and I see, someone that I admire is posting about this certain product, I'm like, oh, this is a little more personable, that you use this product as well, instead of a very, textbook ad. Mm-hmm. So I think that is important when it comes to creativity, to really mix in not just, free shipping or here's this deal, but also to just push out the product organically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, analyze and report. Kaylee, when should you do that? Or Valerie, if you want to jump in, when should you do that? How long should the ad run before you do that?
I try to look at my ads every single day. So I'm analyzing those every single day. We give it about, I would say 2 weeks, Kaylee, wouldn't you say? Mm-hmm. Until we finally make edits to an ad fully. If we see an ad that's not performing well, we'll make an edit. Either it's the caption or the headline switch, or it's a complete different creative. But it kind of just depends. You just need to watch it and see how it's doing constantly. There's really no time frame, I would say. I would just keep watching it.
Yeah, and that's the biggest deal. There's no one size fits all here with hey, give it 2 weeks, give it 3 weeks. Sometimes we've had a couple of ads, with Valerie's client where, it didn't really perform for the first couple of weeks, but it was still in the learning phase. And so Facebook was still kind of learning, who the customers were. So the longer we let it go, the better it was performing toward the end. So again, you just kind of have to, with experience, and the more ads you run, the better you will get at seeing how these perform, and you won't have to have them last as long. But yeah, don't jump. If it's not performing in a couple of days, don't cancel that, because that's not the right way to go about it.
All right. So there are your 5 steps to generate leads with social media ads. If you have any questions, make sure that you comment below, or you can always reach out to Kaylee. I'm going to pop up this information here. Kaylee, you are happy to connect with people and really take over their ads.
Yeah, we'll take over them. We'll run them for you. We'll do all the testing for you. We'll handle everything. I can also offer a training session where we train you on how to make sure your ad account is set up properly to utilize everything. We can, teach you the ins and outs of the ad manager and the events manager, and make sure you have your conversion API set up. If you don't know what that is, please send me an email, because that's the beginning and you want to make sure that you have that set up correctly. So go to pairedupsocial.com. You can reach out to us and we can help you, and we can also take it off your hands and run it for you.
All right, ladies, great chat, great information. I'll see you at the next one.